Yo, yo, yo. Hey, guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. Do you hate morning huddles? Have you stopped doing morning huddles? Do you not even enjoy the words morning huddles? Well, let's change that today. Today, we talk about the keys to an effective morning huddle, which is super important to the health and overall well-being of your practice. And today I interview Robyn Theisen, who's an amazing coach on here, and we take you through a step-by-step process. Please listen to this podcast. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. You know the jam around here. Our job is to help you create a better practice and a better life, and we're going to do just that. Do you hate morning meetings? Have you stopped doing them because you hate them so much? Well, we're going to reverse that trend because we're going to be talking about how you can effectively run a morning huddle in the morning so that your world gets better. And I have Robyn Theisen on the podcast today, and she's an amazing coach here. Robyn, thanks for being on. I appreciate you.
Happy to do it.
Yeah, Robyn, what you guys don't know behind the scenes is Robyn's brilliant. So she helps me understand how a dental practice works. And so, we do our little debriefing before we always do a podcast, and we always list out step by step by step. And so we're going to cover the big ones today. But you're going to see she's one of the most important people around here, the brains behind the operation. So, Robyn, I want to do this, because you coach practices all the time, day in and day out. Absolutely. We're going to talk about how to do it. But I always love why would I do a morning huddle? And tell me your experience as you talk to dentists about morning huddles.
Well, first of all, it's an opportunity to all get together at the beginning of the day, start with something positive and kick off a great day together. It's also an opportunity for us to identify areas what do we have going on today? How can we serve our patients best? How can we make this flow best for our team? All of those things. And then for tomorrow, what opportunities do we have and how do we use today to fill those opportunities and maximize the time we have?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I've heard so many people give statistics, and I just take way too much CE. Depending on who you're listening to, many people agree that teams that do huddles produce, on average, about 17% more. I don't know why 17. I've just heard that so many times. Yeah. Than teams that don't. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh my gosh, 100%. And it just gives us an opportunity to focus, to just fine tune our day and know exactly what opportunities we have and how we're gonna maximize them.
Yeah. And let's talk about the harsh reality, because if you're driving and you're a dentist, you're listening to this and you don't do morning huddles, the reason you don't do them is because you hate them. You hate them so much because, first of all, you don't show up on time. Let's just call you out. We're having fun here, but the truth of it is the biggest problem with any huddle that's not happening is the leader has devalued it or screwed it up to the point where nobody wants to come anymore. We just want to come in and go to work. So you don't have them anymore. Now, it's a lost opportunity for so many reasons. Let's start globally. Globally, I would say this. In life, don't ever start a day before it's complete on paper, even if it's a Saturday. So I got a Saturday right around the corner. My wife gives me a whole bunch of things to do. I actually start the day with a piece of paper. So it goes better when I can stick to the paper. The other thing that happens is, can you imagine you going to another dentist, or better yet, Robyn and I are heart surgeons, and you're just going to show up and we're just going to glove up. Robyn, who are we working on today? I don't know. Did you look at anything? No. How was your weekend? It was great. All right. Hey, what's your name? Bob? You on the table? All right, cool. Hey, we're just going to open you up and figure out what's going on. I'm being a little facetious, but the truth of it is that you can't go into any business not knowing what you're doing and just do it on the fly.
Right.
Anything you would add on why people don't do huddles, Robyn?
Yeah, I hear so often from team members too of, we get there and then the doctor shows up late, or, everybody's talking during it, or we read off the schedule. I can read everything that we were talking about. It's right on the schedule. So they're not focusing on the right things.
Yeah. Another reason, some of you that are really nice people listening to this podcast, here's what a lot of huddles sounded like for you in the past. Yesterday we collected $3,200. We produced $4,500. We're short $2,000. Another $1,000. We have $1,600 in this. It sounds like a pit boss at a casino because it's all about money, 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 money. So we're going to change that today. We're going to change it and make sure that you guys have a productive huddle. I promise you, you put it in play, people will appreciate it. So, Robyn, where do we start? I'm not doing huddles. Do I start them? What do I do? Where do I start?
Yeah, I mean, if the first is identifying the time. I mean, 10 to 15 minutes is when you get into the rhythm is all you really need. Obviously, morning is when most people do it. And I have teams that prefer to do it. If they don't have a team that comes in at the beginning of the day, they may do it over lunch. They may decide that they all end the day at the same time. So that's where they do it. It's about establishing a time that everybody can be there and doing it.
Yeah, I love it. So, Dr. Stephen Heckler, if you're listening, I'm going to do a shout out for you because we actually brought our camera crews into his office. He's an orthodontist in Kansas City. He's got a little timer. He presses the timer and it goes ding exactly at 15 minutes. They stand up. It's like awesome to watch it. Now, the reason I tell you that is this. A missing component people talk about in leadership is predictability. You have to be consistent as a leader. If you're a father, you have to be consistent. If you're a mother, you have to be consistent. If you're a leader, you have to be incredibly consistent. People start to believe in you when they know what's going to happen in a good way, not a bad way, right?
Right. Well, and in the same way, if the doctor doesn't show up on time, they start to believe that too, that there isn't value in it, and that it's not important.
Yeah, and let me just call it the doctor. Again, we're trying to be helpful here, but I know what you're thinking. Kirk, you don't understand. I got a lot going on. I had to talk to the periodontist. It's crazy at my house. I had 2 kids that were sick this morning. And so you come in with your cape and you go, I own the business, so I don't need to really be here. Just tell me what's going on. And you guys get started without me. The second you start thinking like that, we all see your behavior as he or she doesn't care, So...
Right.
So you have to make it important. So I think if you're taking notes, you should be writing this down. Number 1, you got to have one. So if you're not taking notes, don't worry. We're taking notes for you. You got to have one. That's number 1. What's number 2, Robyn?
Yeah, I mean, and along with having one is starting and ending on time, right? So you have the point is to be consistent with what time you start, end on time, so that you're not late with your patients. You don't get your day started late. So having one and being on time. The second piece that I would say is when you get to the meeting, you're at work. It's time to go. There's no eating. There's no putting on makeup. There's no cell phones. It's time to get to work and be prepared for the day.
Yeah.
So no distractions and no disruptions.
Yeah. So a couple of things. I want to go back to the start on time and end on time. That's critical. Even if the huddle's terrible, start with that. Let's do start on time and end on time. And so we had a great coach years ago, and he made us do our meetings at like 12:03 and 10:35. And I'm like, why? He goes, because 12:03 is 12:03. It is not 12:05. And I've never forgotten how specific that is. When you're not on time for anything, it screams, I don't care. So if you're going to want people to be on time, which is an important component of your practice, you could actually build a dental practice just by being on time. You could think about that. And so it starts with the huddle. So you have to be prepared. I hate being late for any meeting. So be on time and then end on time, no matter how much stuff you have to cover. Now, you also mentioned the eating thing. Yeah. I'm going to go off for a minute. I hate. I can't say hate enough. Have food in any type of meeting. I hate it. Now I'm having fun with you guys. Clank, 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 clank. You can't have food in meetings. It's your business. You do whatever you want. But I love eating with my team too. Next week we have our team coming. We got every meal planned. We're going to eat like crazy. I'm going to be sick because we've eaten so much together at the end of the week. But the fact is, when the meeting goes, bam, there's no food. I don't mind coffee. But if you're going to do a huddle, a team meeting, anything, and don't do it over lunch because I'm starving. When I'm hangry, I can't think. I got to eat too. So make sure you set up some rules. Remember, the thing is you got to set up some rules. And the makeup thing. Now, I don't wear makeup, Robyn, but tell me about the makeup thing. You have a rule with makeup.
Well, to me, it's the same thing as when you arrive at the office, when you punch in, it's not to surf the internet. It's you're punching because it's time to work. And so if we're, that means coming prepared, being ready to go, because we're walking out of the meeting and we're going straight to our patients. Yeah. So being prepared for the work day and being ready to go, that's when we start our work day.
I love it. So you can actually list these as commandments for your morning huddle. No food, no makeup, be ready to go. What's the next one?
So, we talked about predictability and being on time and starting on time. A big part of that is coming prepared. So it's being specific about what each person or each department is bringing to the meeting. And I like to tell my teams, if you can read it on the schedule, you don't need to, I can read that. I'm looking for things that aren't on the schedule. And so often I see that business team members are the ones that are preparing for hygienists, for assistants. And I find it very important for every person to be auditing their charts and be looking at coming prepared with their schedule. Because the more that you put into researching and knowing exactly what's happening in your day, the better results you're going to get from the information that you've researched.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't show up without anything to do. The other thing is really the essence. Here's a why. Everybody's got to be mentally engaged. They got to be thinking about what's on their piece of paper if you use paper. Now, again, I'm going to throw two more things into the room on this one. I know all of you have these beautiful 75-inch monitors in the back. And, I watched this trend happen where everybody goes back and now we don't write on paper. We just look at this big, huge monitor. And it was almost like everyone's eyes started spinning. I actually watched a few people sleep with their eyes open in those things. I'm not a fan of just looking at a big, huge monitor. Somebody's got to, even in our Act Dental, everybody's got to have paper in front of them. And I expect everybody to be writing. If you're not writing, I'm going to ask you a question. Go, do you know all this already? And I'll have some fun with you. That's one thing. Now, on the admin thing. So again, the other thing that I see, you're calling out some great things here, is the admin team members usually run the whole huddle. They do everybody's work, all that kind of, but you also have the other side of it where you have admin members that don't show up for the huddle because they're talking to Mrs. Finelli, who's out there, who came in 5 minutes early or 10 minutes early, and she's a really nice patient. I think this is a critically important thing. You have to have the admin team members there. Non-negotiable.
100%. Because
could you agree? Like, I think it's really important. Remember, one of the things you have to do in a business is you teach people how to treat you. I get it that Mrs. Finelli's early for the appointment. She loves coming early, chatting with everybody. She probably brought some, muffins or whatever. But putting a sign up there in the front saying, hey, we're back meeting. We'll be with you in a minute. She will get that. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. And even saying to her, like, gosh, it's great to see you. And we're going to go have our meeting to prepare so we can, give you the best experience possible today. We'll be back with you shortly. And that's really what we're trying to do for the day, is prepare for the patients so that they have the best experience with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one more thing. I want to go back to this. It doesn't always have to be 15 or 30 minutes. We've seen huddles that are really well done in 8 minutes. What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is the perception that it has to take so long, and for bigger teams that they can't get through it. It's really about coming prepared and having each person know their role, and you can efficiently go through it no matter how many people you have. It's about coming prepared and knowing exactly what each person's role is for the meeting.
Okay, now I'm going to throw the most complex question into this one because I get this one all the time. I'm going to throw it at you, and we didn't even talk about it. I totally get what you're saying. But what if I have team members coming in at different times all day long? I've got part-time team members. I got full-time team members. There's no way we could have a huddle. What are your thoughts on that?
So, I mean, obviously, ideally, like I said earlier, could you do it at the end of your lunch period when everyone's going back to work? Could you find a time that everybody is there, that it would work? Or one thing that I've had success with is having meeting buddies. So if there are people that come in late, it's their responsibility to find their meeting buddy and find out exactly what happened and be prepared for that meeting buddy to give their information the day before.
Yeah.
So they're giving that meeting buddy their information to give at the morning meeting, and then finding them when they come in so that they can find out what's going on for the day and
Yeah.
what was discussed at the meeting.
Absolutely. Now, if you listen to any of the podcasts, here's how dentist brains work. And this is how your brain works if you're listening. You're always thinking in terms of exceptions. So when Robyn and I are talking concepts, you're thinking about the one team member this is not going to work for, or you have 3 patients that aren't going to go for this, or you've got a partner or associate this isn't going to work for. Stop thinking like that. Start thinking globally like, hey, look, this would be important for all of us to be on the same page. Could you imagine if I have 6 people in my family. What if I said to myself, 2 of them can't make it for dinner regularly because they just got a lot of stuff going on. They're kids, they live here. No, you make the rules. That's one thing. Now, I'm getting older, so I don't care if you agree, and you don't have to like what I'm going to say. I hope you listen to it. But if you're going to build a dental practice with all these moving pieces, I don't care if you have 4 team members or 400 team members. Mm-hmm. You have to decide, how well do you want this thing to run? And I would caution you to bypass the huddle because you got team members coming in at you're going to lose 17%, if not more, of your production because you decided not to do that. Here's what I would say. If you have a dental practice and you run it, I would make the huddle the most important thing of the day, period. Mm-hmm. And think better about it. Now, I have a dentist that I've known for 20 years. His name's Fred. Fred, if you're listening, you're going to remember this conversation. An amazing producer. He said to me, Kirk, you got to understand, I have team members that are single moms. Their lives are complex, and I can't even imagine how complex that is. And I said, Fred, is it huddle important? Yeah, but we can't do it. I go, stop thinking like that. Find out how you can make a huddle happen. He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, just ask them the question. Well, they all figured out they couldn't get there at 7:45. They agreed that they could be there by 8:15 after putting their kids on the bus, and he made a deal with them. Now, he only works till 2:30. So he said, listen, if you guys can get here at 8:15 and we do our huddle from 8:15 to 8:30, does that work? We can't skip any beats production-wise, and we're still getting out at the same time. You know what they all said? Game on. And they produced more. I'm going to get Fred on the podcast, and he's going to go, that was an unbelievable investment. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is don't just think in boxes. Think creatively. Come to your team and say, listen, I want to do this. I want to get us all on the same page. I want us thinking. Now, the best place to fix the schedule, too, I have a million thoughts on, is in the schedule. You know what I mean? All of the challenges and the problems that you have are right in front of you, and nothing better. Even if you have 40 team members, they're going to see the problems, and you're going to be able to fix the problem. So I'm sorry, Robyn, I'm getting off the rails here, but bring us back. What's the next thing you encourage us to do?
So I am a big fan of Dental Intel. We use it at ACT, and I know many of our offices have it. And I especially like their morning meeting and the way that it is set up. And one of the things that I like the most about it is that it looks at 3 days: yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I think that yesterday can be overlooked by many team members and the importance. And I think there's some specific things with looking at yesterday that can help us to capitalize on opportunities. And so what I mean by that is, I know in many morning meetings, teams will look at, for example, who are we going to ask for reviews from today? And so when we start with yesterday, now I can go back to those team members and say, okay, how did it go with asking for those reviews? So there's an accountability piece to it, and it's a way to identify the opportunity. So if we didn't ask or we weren't successful with getting the reviews, what do we need to do to change that?
Right.
If we're focusing on collections and we need to get our collection percentage up, to be able to review, here's what we said we would do today. And then tomorrow we're going to say, did we actually do that? And so it's an opportunity to reflect on those things and have some accountability with our teams and identify opportunities to improve or celebrate the win.
Absolutely. And so I would encourage you to start with the win, because a lot of times we want to start with the loss, right. That was terrible. Now, you do have to talk about the loss, but when something goes well, the huddle's the perfect opportunity to go, hey, you guys, whatever you guys did at 1:00 and how you put those 2 appointments together, that was freaking amazing. You're going to positively reinforce that, because what you want to do is you want to give voice or energy to that, because where your energy go and where your brain is, that's what you create more of it. Yeah, now, when things happen that are bad, That's going to happen too. And here's the other thing. You're going to go crazy if you don't change that. You know how people always say, like, it's okay to make a mistake and screw it up, but to repeat it over and over, that's when you go crazy, right, Robyn?
Absolutely. And with the reviews, if I have to come to my team day after day and say, oh, I didn't ask, there's only so many days that I'm going to do that before I start to ask, right, for reviews. Or so it's a way to keep us on task with the things that we said that we would do. Did we do them?
Yeah. Low hanging fruit. Let me give you the lowest hanging fruit. This is the easiest one that fits what Robyn's saying. Hygiene reappointment percentage. What gets measured and what gets measured gets improved, but what gets measured and reported on exponentially improves. And that's a wonderful one. Just to put it in the yesterday thing. My hygiene reappointment percentage for yesterday was 95%. Boom. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're going to see, once you start putting that in the morning huddle, it's going to go up. Because if I'm a hygienist in a dental practice and I'm at 72%, I'm not going to report 72 today, 71 today. I'm going to feel some, pressure in a good way to up my game, right?
Yeah. And I know we talk a lot about numbers, and I know that there's been other podcasts about the importance of them, and numbers don't have to be viewed as negative. To me, they're not subjective. They're black and white. So if a hygienist is at 70%, what we really need to identify is, why does that keep happening? Right. And if somebody else is getting 90%, what are they doing that the other hygienist isn't? And how do we change that system so we all get the result we're looking for?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then anything you'd add about today and tomorrow on the Dental Intel dashboard?
So I am a big fan, and I know at ACT we're a big fan of block scheduling and scheduling to goal, or being, looking for opportunities and being productive. And so in Dental Intel, that looking at today and tomorrow, there's opportunities to look to know, have we scheduled to goal? Do we have openings in the next 2 days? And if so, what are the opportunities that are coming in today that we can fill into those holes, or how do we direct them? So if the business team members come with, here's the next rock that we have in the doctor's schedule, or here's our next new patient opening in hygiene, we can identify those people coming in today who can fit into those, because our best opportunity to do it is with the people that are in front of us, not the ones we have to call on the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that happens too, and we didn't list this on our list, you as the admin team member, you're going to have patients that are going to come in that owe you money.
Yes.
And Ariel teaches this on our team. It's pretty awesome. Like, that's a wonderful way. Help me, Robyn, help me think through the morning huddle when we have people that come in with balances.
Right. So, that's something I would say the admin team comes prepared with. So they're looking for people who have balances. Do we have treatment plans assigned? So we know all of those people that are coming in. And I know Ariel recommends talking to those patients before they even go back for their treatment. And we've identified it, so we know exactly who those people are and can make sure that we get those balances. If we aren't able to collect the balance before they go back, now all of our assistants and our hygienists also know those people have got to stop by and see the business team before they leave today.
Yeah, I love it.
For both sides to be able to collect on. And again, when people are in front of you, it's so much easier to take care of those things. I heard a statistic that it takes up to 17 touches to get in touch with somebody once they've left your office. So if we can identify those people in terms of next scheduled hygiene appointment, is everyone leaving with a hygiene appointment? Is there unscheduled treatment that needs to go on? Are there balances that we need to collect? We have a greater opportunity doing that today than we do trying to catch them once they leave.
Yeah, I love that. That's always been the case in dentistry. The more you do up front, the less you always do later. You might need an extra team member or two up front if you're not doing this stuff in the office while the patient is there. And you said Ariel recommends it. That was kind of you. She says this: no, they see me before they go back. They need to pay. And even if they can't pay, she's going to put a stop to the behavior. And again, we teach people how to behave in a dental practice. So these are really important components of a very healthy practice.
The other thing I'd say today is, we can look at opportunities. I think a great one is hygienists coming prepared with who needs perio charting today. that's a great opportunity where things can get, that can really put a hygienist behind. So if we can identify who those people are at the beginning, now the assistant or the admin team or whoever can help out with that has time to prepare and know exactly who can fill that in, instead of when the patient comes in, now we're trying to scramble to see who can help out. We've allowed the assistant or the business team member time to identify what their day looks like and who can help where, and be able to plan their day to accommodate.
I love it. I love it. Any other thoughts or any last thoughts you have on a huddle or components we left out?
I just think it's an overlooked opportunity to really plan, review yesterday, celebrate the wins, identify areas that may go on our issues list to be able to figure out as a team how we address them. We look at today and maximize the opportunity for today and the flow of the day to make sure that people have a great day and patients have a great experience, and then identifying the opportunities for tomorrow so we can capitalize on any openings that we have or getting patients in a timely manner. So really identifying that, looking at those 3 days and making it the best that we can make it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is pretty strong to say, but we've said this for more than 25 years. I could actually watch a morning huddle without seeing any flow in the day, and I can tell you how healthy the dental practice is. And mostly it's going to be because of the engagement, the eye contact, the laughter. And so while we're presenting benefits that are tangible, the intangible is volumes. And so if you think about this, we're at an age where finding, keeping, and retaining great team members is harder than ever. There's no better way than for you to sit down, create a little, a few giggles, fun stuff. Now, you don't want team members disrespecting you because you're giggling all the time and nothing's happening. That's not good. But remember, team members that are great ones, nobody ever leaves a practice. They leave a person. So if you have a great chairside assistant, one of the things, or great front desk person, or great anybody in your practice, one of the greatest things you can do to keep them long-term is to be engaged with them. And the huddle's a great place to do it. I love the morning. I go to everybody's room in the morning and go, "What's up? How are you doing? How was yesterday? How'd it go?" So when you do your huddle, I want people to know I care. I care about you. And so as a dentist, a huddle is more than a huddle. It's the fulcrum. It's the beginning of a great relationship that only gets better if you treat it and think about it the right way.
100%. And, and like you're talking about making it fun, I know Dental Intel has the motivational minute at the end and, just different fun videos. I have teams that bring in jokes or, a motivational quote for the day. So ways to make it fun and get your day started on the right note and set yourself up for a positive day. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, I'll throw in one more tip too. You guys get Google reviews. I hope you're doing it. You're going to get some great ones. What a great opportunity. Hey, before we start the meeting, I just got to read this. It came in yesterday, and read it and go, thank you guys. That's who we are. Or when a patient brings in gifts, somebody brings in muffins and they say, "You changed my life." What a great opportunity to share the story, or share the story of the kids from the team members in dental practice. Just, "Hey, I just want to say congratulations to Lucy and her daughter. I saw that yesterday. That was so cool." You're going to show people you care, And again, is your practice relational or is it transactional? The huddle tells us all. So, all right, Robyn, any last thoughts? I already asked that.
Yes. Thanks so much.
Hey, you are amazing. Stick around when we say goodbye to everybody else. But if you guys are struggling with your huddle, reach out to us. We've got a lot of great tools we can help you. We're going to continue to bring great step-by-step thinking in this podcast. So keep showing up, share it with your friends. If you guys enjoyed today, do us a favor, a huge favor. Podcast is growing like crazy. We just crossed the 1 million download mark. I can't thank you enough. I don't even know how it works. I don't even care how it works. We're just having fun doing it. So keep showing up, keep sending us suggestions for everything you guys want to see. You're going to see, we're going to line it up and bring it to you because I believe in this profession and you can have a better practice and better life. So my hope is you got something out of this today. And until we see you next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your day.